speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Who you with, Kirk? I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak on it. Welcome to speak on it. I'm welcome to speak. Welcome to speak. I'm 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 who you with, Kirk, dog. Welcome to speak on it with who you with, Kirk, dog. Who you with, Kirk, dog. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Man, this week is just rolling. Want to welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is always in the house and kicking it live, just like back in '85. So welcome y'all to the show. You can live chat with us during the show. And no, don't forget about next week, early voting starting on the 24th. So please do not forget about it. Here in Texas, early voting do start runoff election. So definitely allow your voice to be heard. And also, let's make some changes. You already know, stand behind Deborah Peoples, the mayor running for mayor for Fort Worth. Never met her, never talked to her, but I like what she stands for. Also, Kirk Johnson and Junior Ezino stand for them also. They've been on the show before, and you see exactly what they stand for. So definitely get out and let your voice be heard, regardless of what area you are. If you are having early voting starting next week, please get out and vote. Let your voice be heard. We hear people complain all the time about the laws and you want changes. Well, your local election is where your laws make a difference at. So definitely get out and vote. On tonight's show, while doing my research, ran across a couple of disturbing stories. And I don't understand the fact of people violating kids. To me, that's a serious thing. So we're gonna hit on two cases out of Florida that two females. A lot of people say it's not that many female sex offender, but it is. It's a lot of them. So we're going to hit on that tonight. I'm actually going to switch the stories around. We're going to talk about Jessica Good first, and then also Reeghan Burgess. We're going to talk about them. Then we're going to talk about Barry Morphew. Yeah, a double whammy on him. And Kevin McCarthy, the Republican, and also an update on Andrew Brown Jr. case and Greg Abbott. Yeah, we'll talk about him too. So welcome to the show. Hope y'all buckle in, get ready to roll. No matter where you are, if this is your first time listening, you can be a part of the show. You can also interact with us. You can always chat live with us in the chat room. And you can also call in. The phone number is always strolling across the top. 972-591-3665, 972-591-3665. I just ask, please do not block your number out. I won't answer. I get too many spam calls. Um, so Jessica Good. And I didn't have enough time to put a picture up, but yeah. Oh, Jessica went out one night, um, got full of that juice, and decided to come back and violate a 12-year-old boy, a 17-year-old boy. I'm sorry. So a 44-year-old Florida woman is accused of drunkenly crashing a children's birthday party, where she proceeded to rape a teenager while a 12-year-old slept just a foot away on a beanbag. Detectives were dispatched to a high school on May 11 after a student told a staff member that they were raped over the weekend. The Charlotte County Sheriff's Office stated in a press release the victim told investigators that they were attending a sleepover birthday party when Jessica Good and another woman crashed it around 2 a.m. Good was allegedly drunk, and the teen victim claimed she was making extremely inappropriate sexual comments and providing the 17-year-old victim with alcohol, according to investigators. Good then allegedly raped the teen while a 12-year-old was asleep on a beanbag chair just foot from them, according to the press release. The 12-year-old allegedly woke up after hearing noises and noticed the two actively engaged in intercourse. The detective approached Good at her workplace on May 11 and asked to speak to her. That conversation led to her arrest. She has been charged with 2 counts of child abuse and 2 counts of unlawful sexual activity with a minor. The sheriff department noted that in Florida, it is illegal for an adult, someone 18 or older, to have sex with a minor, someone younger than 18, even if the sex is consensual. Certain exemptions exist. I don't know what, but a child is a child. Good has been booked on a $150,000 bond. It's unclear if she has a lawyer. She is due back in court on June 21st. It's not clear what Good's relationship is to the child or how she knows them. First of all, please know who you're bringing your kids around. Know who you're bringing your kids around. Welcome to the show, Radio Chaos. It was actually a 17-year-old, but a 12-year-old was sleeping on a beanbag next to them while this assault was going on. So it was actually a 17-year-old that she raped. But still, you go out, get drunk, wherever you came from. I'm sure it was somebody in there that could have took care of your needs, or hell, you should have made a stop by that little 24-hour store and got you something to help you out and let your fingers do the walking. Because this woman is, for you to sexual assault a 17-year-old with a 12-year-old laying right next to them. It's crazy. Now, I ran across this story first. Either way, it's sickening. That's a child. That's a child. Now that child is going to have to live with this for the rest of his life. So it's let me make sure something, because want to verify something.
because it may not be in this particular article. It doesn't say if it was a male or a female child, but either way, it's wrong. It's wrong. And looking at her picture, he's gonna have plenty of nightmares. Cause ooh, yeah. But then you get people in other situations. See, that's why we need to do a deep background check and constantly do background checks. Because on this next story, once again, the difference between this one and Jessica, it's it's crazy. So this next one, same county, the Charlotte County Sheriff Office have announced the arrest of a woman on multiple possible sex charges involving minors. Reeghan Burgess, 30, was arrested Friday on 8 possible charges, including unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. She remained in the Charlotte County Jail on $1 million bail. Now, see, this is where you have to be careful when you have people around kids, working with kids. You need to know for sure. Burgess worked at Crossroad Hope Academy in Punta Gorda. Crossroad is a nonprofit home for teenage boys who have had multiple failed placement in the Florida foster care system. Crossroad Hope Academy released a statement Saturday afternoon following the arrest of Burgess, saying in part, "We are shocked," and pay attention to this statement because this statement it threw me for a loop. Said, "We're shocked and saddened by the allegation and will cooperate with authority, and we will continue to put the safety and well-being of our kids first." Other staff members say they noticed something wasn't right. They noticed something wasn't right. They say concern about Burgers where first was first brought to their attention in November 2020. Now they said they noticed something wasn't right. And they noticed this back in November 2020. When they became concerned about Burgers' behavior towards some of the boys. They then called the child abuse hotline and placed her on administrative leave. She has since been fired from Crossroad. So back in November, you knew something wasn't right, and you just called the hotline. Why not call the police? Um, Adam Horowitz is a sexual abuse lawyer who hoped the boys' past won't affect the outcome of the trial. He also says female abusers are more common than people realize. He also says female abusers are more common than people realize. And it is a known fact. About 20 years ago, I stayed in Mesquite and I did a search of sexual offenders in my neighborhood, and there was more females than guys. And people were like, no, that ain't true. Take out your phone, do a search on sex offenders in your neighborhood, see what your outcome is. It happened less often than male victims, but in large enough numbers that is a troubling trend. And hopefully these young people are able to get the counseling therapy that they need. He said it doesn't have to necessarily define them for the rest of their lives, but they do need that counseling therapy to process it because it is betrayed. The person that is there to help you also hurting you. On at least one occasion, Burgess joined the boys on a hike to a state park and was frequently mentioned on the Crossroad Hope Academy Facebook page. You can read Crossroad Hope Academy full statement here. From what the full statement they said was, I do not want to, it's not going to let me pull it up, but basically just what I said about they call the hotline, child abuse hotline. And if it's anyone that is dealing with sexual assault, abuse, or anything, please get some help. Get some help. You can call the National Sexual Assault Hotline at 1-800-656-4673. 1-800-656-4673. And get some help. It's okay to ask for help. Because at some point we all need some type of help, and it's okay to ask for it. So ooh, I hate when that happened. Clicked on my next story and then ads start playing in my ear. But one to talk about next, those just are a couple of stories because we've been hearing in the news quite a bit, either kids being killed, kids being abused, physical, sexually. Look, leave the babies alone. They are our future. We don't need for them to grow up with a messed up head because of something that you did to take advantage of them. And this is really a bad situation. Never abuse a child. So here it is. And this Reeghan Burgess, she's accused of actually hurting several kids, allegedly having sex with several kids. So definitely leave the babies alone. It's bad enough with Burgess. They was already in a home because they couldn't get adoption. And the bad part about adoption, when they turn 18, they have to leave. Once they turn 18, they out of the system. Now, in certain states, because we've had counselors on the show before. Now, here in Texas, I don't know about all states, but here in Texas, they do have a situation where if the child go to college, they can stay in the system and they will provide help for them. But Ms. Simmons even have said that when the kid turned 18, she had to go to the house, pick the child up, and drop them off at a shelter, a bus station, or wherever. Welcome to the show, SAL. Been a while since I heard from you and Gary. Hopefully y'all doing good. Thank you for always tuning in and supporting the show. But as for kids, please leave the kids alone. Leave the kids alone. So it came out, I guess it was yesterday, maybe. They did find another voter fraud, but it's not what you think, though. Don't stop smiling. So a man arrested in wife's murder. now accused of voting for Trump in her name. Yeah, voting for Trump in her name. I'm doing great, can't complain. Don't do no good, but I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. So this happened in Colorado. A Colorado man arrested this month for allegedly murdering his wife has also been accused of voting for former President Donald Trump in her name. Barry Morphew, 53, was charged with felony forgery, an offense related to mail ballots, a misdemeanor according to court record filed Thursday. So this happened last week. He was previously arrested on May 5th on charges of first-degree murder after delivering tampering with physical evidence in an attempt to influence a public servant, according to court document, in connection with the disappearance of his wife, Suzanne Murphy, over a year ago. Wife been missing for over a year. Suzanne Morphew, 49, who shared two daughters with her husband, disappeared on May 10, 2020, near the small mountain town of Salada in Schafford County. She has yet to be found. So when the Schafford County Clerk Office received a voter ballot in the mail for the missing person in October, the county clerk reported the alleged voter fraud to authorities, according to an arrest warrant affidavit. The ballot did not have the required signature, but was allegedly signed by Barry Morphew on the witness signature line on October the 15th, according to the affidavit. The Schafford County Sheriff seized the ballot in its envelope as evidence, and Barry Morphew's own ballot and envelope were seized in March as well during a month-long investigation, according to the affidavit. During an interview with FBI agent in April, Barry Morphew allegedly confessed to submitting his wife's ballot, according to the affidavit. Just because I wanted Trump to win, he allegedly said, per a transcript of the conversation, including in the affidavit, I just thought, give him another vote. I figure all these other guys are cheating. He allegedly said, adding that his wife was going to vote for Trump anyway, according to the affidavit. He allegedly told the FBI agent he didn't realize it was illegal to submit someone else's voter ballot. I didn't know you couldn't do that for your spouse, he allegedly said, according to the affidavit. Barry Morphew is being held in Schafford County Detention Facility without bond in a murder case. He is next scheduled to appear in court on May 27. His attorney are state public defender who do not comment on criminal cases. No arrests are expected in connection with the disappearance of Suzanne. Morphew authorities said the arrest affidavit for the murder charge is still, and prosecutor have not revealed a suspected cause of death yet. So that's a lot. No, I didn't say out. Let me finish this up and then I'll talk about it. But so this dude accused of murdering his wife and then turn around, vote for her after she been missing for a year. And to claim that the other party was cheating. One more vote. What is that? We're up to at least 3, 1, 2, I think 4 fraud cases so far that voted for Trump. But they say this election was rigged. That's a lot. I just don't. Well, he's where he need to be now. So he could go ahead and do all he want. Um, uh, no, SAL, I did not hear that. Did you hear about fostering Mexican, Hispanic? We're gonna say Hispanic children. They are paying at least 500 a day in Texas. Um, yeah, I need to verify that one. I haven't heard it, but um, wouldn't be surprised. I know someone that's actually working in that facility, and it's um, it's um, it's definitely a hard facility to work in. Um, if you're just not tuning in, as we tell people all the time, sometimes we find out about things during the show. Um, so I'm trying to see if I can pull that story up. Um, um, uh, Trying to pull that story up to verify because I haven't heard about it. If someone actually knows about it, definitely hit us up in the chat. Where did you see that story at? AL. Da, 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 da. And I'm trying to see, trying to verify it. The question is, would you do it? Because all money ain't good money. Um, Many pause here. Um, right now, I cannot. Okay, here's how to. Let me see. Like they saying you can foster them, but I don't know about the $500 a day. Um, which unfortunately, a lot of people do foster kids as a business, and that's not the way to do it. Uh, uh, what I would have to do is do more research of it, and because I'm not seeing anything for it. Let me search another way because I'm not seeing anything about it because you still have to be careful when it come down to kids. I don't care who they are, where the kids come from. You have to be careful because we're um, in a situation where a lot of people are sex trafficking kids. So that's something that they have to be concerned about. And said it's for 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, a lot can happen. And who to say that the kids will still be there? Because even down in Houston, not too long, I guess last month, they found a house that had either 40 or 60 immigrants in it. And I believe some of them even had COVID, and they all was in this house together. So that was a lot of people going up in there. Um, uh, so I'm trying to see if I can find more on it because I hate to actually go and say, yeah, I like to verify stuff, but right now I don't see. I know they said um, they can they need foster parents. Um, um, they need foster parent, and I know as a foster parent, you do get certain perks. One of the perks is um, one of the perks you would actually get automatic get Medicare or Medicaid for them, and also you would get um, food stamps for them. So uh, they say a financial reimbursement along with medical and dental coverage would vary depending on the need of the child or children in your care. On an average, foster family will receive around $675 per month. Um, and I would assume that's per child. So it's $675 per month. Um, Now here's another one. Maybe this. Oh no, that was 2017. No, that's too long ago. Da, 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 da. So it just depends. I'm gonna have to do some more research on it, and what I do is once I research it, um, then I can talk about it tomorrow. But from what I'm seeing right now, it's a up to $675 a month to foster kids. $675 a month, which is that's still a risk. It's a lot of responsibility that comes along with it. Welcome to the show, T Cal. What's up, Kurt Dog? Wish I can watch tonight. I'm at a new location and my hands are full. Hey, I understand you got to make that money. Had to check in though and say hi. Hey, I appreciate you always supporting the show. I understand it's Tuesday night and you normally work late, so I definitely understand that. Thank you for always tuning in, supporting the show, and we appreciate it. And be safe at work, and we'll catch you tomorrow night. So so apparently Kevin McCarthy. And I know radio probably waiting for this one because there's a lot of stories I'm trying to cover tonight. Um, so that's why the first two I went pretty quick on. Just make awareness that people leave the babies alone. Um, Leave the babies alone. I appreciate it, T Cal. You have a good night. Be safe. Um, He said good night radio. So Kevin McCarthy, Republican, opposed January 6th Capitol attack commission of exclusion of other political violence. So instead of trying to investigate more about the terrorist attack on January 6th, he wanted to look at, and they word was look at well, he said House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy announced Tuesday that he opposed a bipartisan agreement on a commission to investigate the January 6th attack on the Capitol that was announced on Friday, as other Republicans came out against the deal as well. Not a shocker. The agreement hammered out by Homeland Security Committee Chair Benny Thompson, Democrat from Mississippi, and Ranking Member John Keiko, Republican, New York. Met one Republican demand that it include equal representation from both parties, but it failed to meet another that some Republicans expressed that it would also investigate last summer rise the plunge American cities, and other left-wing violence. That's why McCarthy, Republican, California, this is y'all representative. So I hope y'all do the right thing. Send him packing. Vote him out. Said Monday he cannot support the agreement. The renewed focus by Democrats to now stand up to an additional commission ignored the political violence that has struck American cities. A Republican congressperson, congressional baseball practice, and more recent, the deadly attack on Capitol Police on April 2nd. So McCarthy said in a statement, the presence of this political violence in American society cannot be tolerated and it cannot be overlooked. I have commissioned this to other Democrat colleagues for months, and the omission is deeply concerning. Well, my whole thing is, y'all had the opportunity of voting Trump, impeaching Trump, to make sure he can never hold another public office. But y'all choose not to. Y'all knew what Trump was up to. Y'all knew what he was capable of doing. Y'all knew that Trump was bad news. You knew these things. When Trump mentioned on the campaign, when the audio tape came out, he telling Billy Bush to grab the women by the kitty cat. Y'all thought it was all fun and game. Y'all should have nipped that in the bud then. When Trump praised his supporters passing by on a golf court saying white power, he retweeted that. Y'all could have nipped it in the bud then. When Trump talked about the protests in Charlottesville, when the white nationalists or the different white national groups that showed up and up murdering a woman by hitting her with a car and running over all those folks and carrying ticket bars, y'all could have nailed that in the bud. But instead, y'all didn't have enough balls nor a backbone to actually stand up to that food. So now y'all don't want to, you want to put the blame on everything else instead of blaming yourself. Because the problem is, for whatever reason, y'all was scared to say anything to Trump. I don't know why. Trump must have some serious dirt on a lot of y'all. And you don't want your dirt to come out. You're right, radio. The GOP are full blown at the politician party. Hold on. People have to think about how to legally stop this movement and quit waiting for conservatives to find their more compassion. A lot of them don't have it. A lot of them don't. They do not have it. Only thing they're concerned about, how can they make their pockets fatter? How can they get their names out? How can they do this? How can they please their supporters? That's why I'm tired of having politicians that is not for everybody in that community. They're only part for certain people in the community. And that's a problem within itself. You need to be for everyone, regardless if they voted for you or not. You should be be for everyone. Radio said if Trump ever get indicted and the cops come to arrest him, if Donald decides to make a run for it, Do the Secret Service has to run alongside of him while he's making his getaway? That's a damn good question. I would say they need to be the ones take him in custody. They need to be the ones take him in custody. Because what are they gonna do? Welcome to the show, Normalology. Welcome to the show. Thank you, man. I appreciate the work that you're doing here in Dallas with the Botham Jean party. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. That law was passed. You got the street name passed. I appreciate you, brother. Um, but yeah, they should be the ones to arrest him. But unfortunately, they not. Some of them probably big supporters of him. I know me personally, I couldn't work with him. Hell, I'd be like, hell no, I ain't protecting this fool. All the things he's doing, no, I'm not gonna do it. So yeah, I'm glad that that um, people are trying to take a stand, but certain ones are trying to act like January 6th never happened. And it did. That's going to be in a history book. American attacking America, a domestic terrorist. So yeah. No, excuse me. But that's the way it is. That's the history of America. People feel like they can overturn the government, and people is okay with that. That's not going to solve anything. And probably half the folks that was there probably not even registered to vote. They probably not registered to vote, haven't voted, never been registered. But you trying to overthrow the government. When I talk about voting on this show, it's for a reason. It's not just for um, my listener, it's for everybody. If you want something done, get registered to vote and get out and vote. We have several major elections coming up in the Metroplex starting next week. Um, in city of Fort Worth with Deborah People, city of Grand Prairie. Now, Fort Worth can make history. The first African American and female mayor if Deborah Peoples win. Then in the city of Grand Prairie, you have the opportunity of electing two Black males into city council, which the city of Grand Prairie never had. And like I said, I was reached out. Someone reached out to me about trying to get a debate between Kirk Johnson and his opponent because of some of the things his opponent was saying about the fact that he'd been in this position for 13 years, and he said he don't feel like he have time to be a city council, but you won't step down. And he even talked about the 75054 zip code in the city of Grand Prairie is the 11th richest zip code in Texas. He only want to talk about what's going on in the rich part. But what about the other residents that is not in that part? How are you going to represent them? He asked the person, said, well, are you wanting the people to sell their houses at a cheaper price for they can live in it? No, what about the roads? What about street lights? What about the crimes over there? And then if you have houses that is actually need some repairs, especially for the older citizen, how about getting them up to par? Start a program where they can start to help rebuild those communities. Then the person said he didn't want to talk no more. So, of course, I would vote for Kurt and Junior Zeno. Be like, forget it. I know what they stand for. They was on the show and they told you what they stood for. But this other clown, no. Said the person kept asking, "What do you stand for? What do you stand for?" Oh, you know what I stand for. No, I don't. How I'm supposed to know what you stand for? I seen the work you've done. I'm not pleased with it. But you never want to answer the questions. You want to say when a question was asked to you, you want to just overlook that. And I'm like, so what is he not reading your question? What's going on? They told me they asked him the same thing. Either you're not reading my questions, or you just overlooking them. Which one? Because if you're not reading them, why would I want you in a position to represent me if you're not going to read what you're signing or what's going on in the city? So the person told me he didn't want to talk no more after that. You got to ask the politician the hard questions. Ask them up front. How are you going to support my community? What are you going to do? What's the reason why I should vote for you? Can't answer it? Don't vote for them. Leave them alone. Throw deuces at them. Keep moving. So Andrew Brown case. Now the problem is a video came out today, and with Andrew Brown case, it was said yesterday that no charges going to be brought up against the officers. Then on top of that, the prosecutor said several weeks ago, right after it happened, no charges going to be brought up against the officer, and said that Andrew Brown tried to hit one of the officers. And I know some people probably going to debate it. They probably will. And that's cool. We don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree. It doesn't matter. But from what I seen in the video, yeah, he did pull off, but that officer stepped in the path of the car, put his hand on the side of it, and he started to shoot. Now, listening to different reviews, different stories, they're not supposed to be shooting at a fleeing car. And they just threw all that out the way. They didn't care. Now, we've seen incidents where policemen being drugged by a car. A person can just murder several people that don't look like me and turn around and be taken to restaurants. Or people even trying to go after policemen with some type of weapon, and they still chose not to take them down. Now, like I said at the beginning, if that was true about it, Andrew Brown, release the videotape, let us see. But from what I seen, that cop was on the side of the car, and as he pulled the way, his wheels was turning to the left. That cop hit the hood with his hand, then immediately started open fire. They could have chalk it up as a loss, get him on the next one. No, he's coming back home. Our person chase him. But it's mighty funny when it come down to the Black community. Their first weapon of choice is shoot to kill. We don't get the same courtesy as other race do. It would take a lot, and there haven't been too many cases where other race have done some of the similar things and they shot and killed them. I think it was last year. A guy shot two officers, stood over one of them and killed him in Oklahoma. When they found him, I think the guy probably ran through some woods or something and had a couple of scratches on him, but that was it. But then we also talking about Oklahoma where a black man walking away with his hands up in the air, back turned toward the officer, and she shot and killed him shot him in the back and killed him. And then she get a promotion to train other officers. So when stuff like this happen, yeah, it still fall up under the same umbrella. Another black man being killed by the police. At some point, we got to say enough is enough. We have to. This been going on for many years. And let the truth be told, it's been going on for centuries. Because our skin is a threat to a lot of people. Radio said you're not supposed to put yourself from a position of safety to a position of jeopardy to justify a shooting. Exactly right. And that's what the cop did. That's what I seen in that video. Even the governor of North Carolina say federal officials should continue to investigate the shooting. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper said a special prosecutor should have been put in charge of Andrew Brown's case. Because here it is, in the press conference they had last week or a week and a half ago, the attorney said this DA, this prosecutor, is part of the problem. They said then they felt like no charges was going to come because this prosecutor is in the bed with the police. He shared office with them. They're in the same office. So he deal with them on a regular basis. So where can justice come from if you have a personal relationship with the same ones committing the crimes? Where can the justice come from? They pick and choose. Kind of like we talked about last night. The what's his name? I think it was Richie E. Jackson, the prosecutor that was here in Dallas, taken 19 years of two guys' life for not giving the evidence to the defense team that could have cleared their name. And because he retired, keyword retired, so he's up in age, driving tour buses up in Alaska, he decided to surrender his law license. You surrender your law license, but you're retired. You have no plans on practicing law again. I feel like he should be charged. 19 years of these guys' life. Now, I'm saying 19 years, even though they spent 14 years in prison. but it took them another 5 years to get their name cleared. And when he wasn't invited back, when his service was no longer needed, when former DA Craig Watkins was the DA of Dallas, they started people started complaining, talking about he shouldn't be worrying about the old cases, freeing all these guys and all of that, getting them out of prison. Why not? If it's evidence there that's showing they were falsely accused, why not get them out of prison? And it's it's happened all so often. I'm trying to pull up this other story that Miss Risky sent to me last night. Another situation that's actually happened in North Carolina. Shocker. Two brothers, two half brothers from North Carolina who served 31 years in prison for a rape and murder they did not commit have been awarded 31 million each in compensation damage, 1 million for every year they spent locked up after they were wrongfully convicted. 31 years. They was teenagers when they went to jail. Teenagers. And they spent 31 years of their life in jail. All because of a lie. They've been in jail since 1983. One of them was sentenced to death row. The other one was sentenced to life. They said that's the largest amount ever awarded for a settlement, 75 million. And they said after 4 days of testimony, an 8-person federal jury in Raleigh also granted Henry McCollum and Leon Brown 13 million in punitive damage on top of 9 million settlement from the Robeson County Sheriff Office, one of the defended name in the civil suit, according to the News and Observer. The total payout of 75 million is believed to be the largest amount ever awarded for a wrongful conviction in the state history. The men, both black, with intellectual disability, were teenagers when they were convicted of the brutal 1983 flaming of an 11-year-old Sabrina Bew in Red Spring. After their first trial, both men were sentenced to death. And at age 16, Brown became North Carolina's youngest death row inmate, but he was later resentenced to life in prison. So they're about 47, 48. I thank God said McCollum, who just years ago had become the longest serving inmate on North Carolina death row, according to the News and Observer. I've got my freedom, he said. There's still a lot of innocent people in prison today, and they don't deserve to be there. Over decades, attorneys for the man found evidence that law enforcement officials coerced their confession, suppressed and fabricated evidence, and sat on evidence that clearly implicated another suspect. New DNA evidence, ultimately provided that a convicted murderer named Roscoe Ortiz was actually responsible for the crime, the News and Observer report. A judge overturned their conviction in 2014, and they were released from prison the following year. Governor Pat McCarthy granted them full pardon, and each man received $750,000 for the time they served. After 3 decades, however, the man began pursuing a federal civil rights case in the matter. The final chapter in the case that ended last Friday after the jury deliberated for 5 hours. So that's the difference between black laws and white laws. Because here it is, wrongfully convicted, withholding evidence. And these investigators that did it should be held accountable. It's no other way of putting it. Hold them accountable. Because they have destroyed these guys' lives. 31 years. They in prison for a crime they did not commit. There's no amount of money that can take all that back. 31 years. It's not, yeah, it's going to give you some temporary happiness, but can you imagine going to prison at 16 and having to spend 31 years of your life there? 31 years, no prom. They can still have kids, but can you imagine the abuse they could have gone through? 31 years. And I feel like when things like this happen, they need to be held accountable. They definitely need to be held accountable. Those officers that investigated, if they're still alive, hold them accountable. They're supposed to protect and serve all people, not just certain folks, all people. 31 years. That's a long time. But then we come on back down to Texas. I cannot wait until next year for we can vote them out and we can just push the reset button and do something completely different. Greg Abbott need to go. No other way of putting it, he need to go. So today, he signed an executive order. We know how he feel about his executive orders. We know it only worked for certain folks, and we'll see. So Texas Governor Greg Abbott issued executive order prohibiting government entity from mandating masks. So starting on June the 5th, well, let me back up. Texas Governor Greg Abbott issued an executive order prohibiting governmental entities in Texas, including counties, cities, school district, public health authority, or government official from requiring and mandating mask wearing. Public school may continue to follow current mask wearing guidelines through June the 4th. According to the order, after June 4th, no student, teacher, parent, or other staff member or visitor can be required to wear a mask while on campus. Beginning May 21st, Local government or officials that attempt to impose a mask mandate or impose a limitation inconsistent or conflicting with the executive order could be subject to a fine of up to $1,000, according to a release from Abbott office. Abbott lifted the statewide mask mandate in March. Since then, the decision to require masks or not has been left up to individual business and public places. Removing statewide mandate that's not in personal responsibility, said Abbott at the time. It's just that now state mandates are no longer needed. I guess he's a doctor now. Um, but the thing is, I'm tired of dealing with Greg Abbott. It's time for him to go. He overstayed his welcome. Been in office too long. We need to vote him out. Him, Dan Patrick, Ken Patson, the Board of Education, because if you leave it up to Greg Abbott, he's going to make laws that's going to affect the low income, the ones that don't support him. I'm like this. I don't care. I'm always going to wear my mask. We don't know enough about this vaccine. We don't know if it's going to keep us from having it. Been reports that some people who have been fully vaccinated have still got the COVID. So because of that, we don't have enough information about it. And since we don't have enough information about it, it's up to me to protect myself, protect my family. And with that being said, if I'm out and about in public, guess what? I'm going to have my double mask on. I'm going to keep on rolling. Now, everybody may not feel the same way. That's your choice. But don't question why I'm wearing a mask. I won't question why you're not wearing one. Just like some people that the other day he came out and said that people don't have to show proof of being vaccinated. Well, a lot of people are going to say they vaccinated and not. Well, that's another reason to keep wearing your mask, because people do lie. They lie just for the hell of it. So as for me, I'm going to continue to wear my mask. I prefer to be safe than sorry. And I know plenty of people that have actually caught COVID-19 before. I even know somebody who's dealing with it now. So the thing is, why put myself in that situation? I seen the effect that it had on people. Yeah, it will affect people different ways. But I've seen one friend had it from the beginning of December all the way up to um, all the way up until February. That's a long time. And it was shaky with them, where they almost died. They was telling me, Kurt, though, I don't know. Only thing I do, I get up, go to the restroom, I'm back out again. Very dehydrated, went to the hospital, gave them a choice. We could put you on a ventilator, but you know how that goes. So the problem is, why not wear a mask? Yeah, it's your choice, but don't get upset if a private owned business tell you you must wear a mask in order to come in here. Don't get upset. Do not get upset. You go into a business and they say, hey, you need to put a mask on. That's their choice. Now, if Greg Abbott start telling people that even private-owned business cannot mandate it, he overstepping his boundaries. Um, exactly. I feel you on that, Chris. He said right. And said just like no shoes, no shirt, no service, no mask. Same thing. You gotta have it. You have to have it. Don't get upset. Then make yourself looking like a fool like Ricky Stroller. Got into a shouting match with a Costco employee over wearing masks. This guy's a complete two. I I told y'all during the Cal Rittenhouse when he gave money to get him out of jail. See that show he was on, Silver Spoon? You see, as a kid, I'm thinking, oh, Silver Spoon, that's a nice show. But that's the reason why he's acting the way he is now, always having a silver spoon in his mouth and think he still got it. So the thing is, he get into the shopping match with Costco, and one manager surprised him. He went in, got him a refund for his membership, gave him his money back, told him thank you. Then he goes online and give a half-ass apology because he didn't expect for them to do that. People have to stop looking at, I understand we all need to make money, but because of his status, how he went online and bashing them, telling people to come down and get a refund for their membership and all of that, why would you want them at your store? I wouldn't want to do business with somebody like that. All because you upset because their policy is you must wear a mask. If that's their policy, follow by their rules. That's all you have to do. Follow their rules. I agree with you. I do agree with you on that, radio. He just washed up a celebrity looking for attention. Now, also, he was arrested. When was it? Last year, a year and a half ago, for alleged domestic violence. Now, I can see that. He's not so-called famous no more. And his wife probably said, you need to stop living in the past. And he shuckled. Yeah. But I'm just saying, he's I haven't seen him in anything in years, so maybe I don't know. I don't know. But at the same time, you have to do what's best for you and your family. You want to go out here and listen to Greg Abbott, listen to Ricky Stroller, go ahead. But when you come back, starting a GoFundMe account because you have COVID, or you lost your loved one because you have COVID, because you wanted to listen to them, just keep strolling by. That was your choice. You have a choice to make. I seen that last night. You're right. That was his claim to fame when he was crying. They said, "Oh yeah, he's a crybaby. He'll be real good for that silver spoon." Uh, Yeah. So I'm just telling everybody, look, please protect yourself. That's why we need leaders in place that is gonna make the right decision for us. I don't care who you support. Think for yourself. Do you think it's right to just immediately lift up all the mask mandate? They'll say that, but then they'll turn around and say, well, we don't know enough about this virus. We don't know enough about this vaccine. Because let the truth be told, they said even after you've been vaccinated with the first two shots, in 6 months, they recommend we take another shot. Once again, we don't know enough, but you want to go and rush and open everything back up. That's kind of like last year when Trump found out, when he first thought about it, he thought it was killing a lot of people. But when the numbers came out, it was killing more minorities. Trump said we need to start the economy back up. And Greg Abbott on his coattail, holding on for dear life and like, oh yeah, we need to open the economy back up. But when they thought it was affecting, unfortunately, the white race more than it was affecting the minority race, they shut everything down. People, we got to do better. Hold our elected officials accountable. Hold them accountable for everything they do. If they don't do what they say they're going to do, get them out. That's the key. COVID does not discriminate. I've known many of people. That's why I don't go on Facebook all that much anymore. For the simple fact, I'd see a lot of my friends and followers posting that they have lost another loved one to COVID. And the mental stress that that can cause a person is it's not good. Um, it's not good at all. So you definitely have to protect yourself. I don't care who it is. And some of these people I've actually talked about, all of them is not black. Some of them been white. It don't care. It doesn't care. Matter of fact, um, hell, look at Ted Cruz. When he got it, he kept it on the hush hush. But he came out of quarantine to vote for the Supreme Court. Trump got it. Then he tried to make it seem like it wasn't that bad. Me personally, um, I said I hope his change his heart. He come out and give a testimony how God saved him. But of course, I forgot who I was talking about. So that's um, that's Trump. He'll never do that. Uh, yeah, that's all he got. He got a photo op. He came through, left the hospital, even though the doctor said no, drove around waving at folks. And then when he got back to the White House, how many more cases came out? A lot of cases came out after he got back to the White House. Came out and said so many people was affected by it. Look at unfortunately Ben Carson. Went to that Trump rally in Tulsa. After he left out of there, lost his life because he believed it wasn't that bad. People have to think for themselves. That's the society that we're in. People want other people to think for them and believe everything someone tell you. I can tell you I own the Golden State Bridge, and I'll sell it to you. Will you believe me? Radio said all the staff at Walter Reed were probably glad to get rid of him. Yeah, because they probably got tired of bringing all the Diet Cokes in there. Probably drunk them all and cleared that out of the vending machine with Diet Cokes. Um, but yeah, that would be a headache to have him there. And that doctor, I forgot his name, but the first doctor that was given the report, he was going back and forth, and he said something, and they stopped him from giving reports. They said, "Oh no, we're not going that route." So yeah, it's one of those situations where Trump will smile in your face and lie to you and steal from y'all at the same time. The OJs call it backstabber. He don't care about nobody but himself. Y'all better listen to Mary Trump. She tried to warn us, but some of you think she's talking about unnecessary stuff, but nobody knows you like your family. So she knows exactly what Trump is all about. But yeah, I want to appreciate everyone that tuned in tonight, but if it was your first time, please don't let it be your last time. Please take the time out, like, share, subscribe, no matter which platform you own. Please share, support the show. If it's a topic that you want us to speak on, let us know. And don't be afraid to chat with us in the chat room, like Radio Chaos, TCAP, Normology, and the other people that may comment. And the ones that just like to just come in and listen, that's okay too. But we can always be a part. And this show is about you. This is a platform for everyone. Everyone. I don't care what party you represent or anything like that. As long as you are coming with truth, being respectful, and no conspiracy theory, I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. But that's all we require. Anybody is welcome on this platform. Long as you do those things, no conspiracy and being respectful. We may not agree with everything, and it's okay. I had no problem with that. You may not agree with me, I may not agree with you, and that's fine. But we would always respect each other. Radio said all that 10 in a can crap clogging up the equipment. See, I tell you, I cannot read what you say while I'm in the middle of talking. But also, if this is your first time, we're on Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time. Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time. Please be a part of the show. And if you ever have a topic you would like for us to speak on, you can always shoot me an email. Shoot me an email, and we can actually add it into the show. So just shoot me an email. Just put topic as the subject, and we will add it in. On so that's I can be found on all social media. Speak on it with Who You With Kurt Doe. You can find us on there. Send me a message. look me up and we can communicate. But I will tell you, no foolishness, no foolishness at all, because that's something I won't tolerate. But everybody welcome here. You can come in and we can have a good time. So tomorrow night, um, tomorrow is Wednesday. This week is going quick. So tomorrow night, we will cover several stories, and then what we will do is do the segment Ask Kurt Dog anything. Anything you want to know, you can ask. Um, I'm very open. So if you ask me, prepare yourself for the answer because I will answer truthfully to you. So just prepare for it. I don't bite my tongue, and I will tell you exactly whatever it is you want to know, but I'm gonna tell you in my way. So, but I don't give out personal information. So that's the only bad part about it. But other than that, I will answer you, and I will let you know if that's too personal or whatever. So, but other than that, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. I love each and every one of you. Until tomorrow night, if the good Lord say the same. Peace.